The Chicago Bulls suffer a beatdown in Boston, unfortunately losing 122 to 100. This is a game where the Chicago Bulls offense struggled to get started and struggled even more to keep up any type of meaningful momentum. We're going to talk about it, break it all down and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Hayes, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, man, let's go ahead and get into it for today, y'all. Hey, the Bulls got their ass kicked. I don't know how else to say it. I know there's probably a much better political way to go about saying that, but the Bulls utterly got destroyed today. They did not win a single quarter in this game. The Bulls briefly had a lead when it was 18 to 17, and that was for 10 seconds. The Bulls held the lead in this game for 10 seconds. The Boston Celtics had the lead for 47 minutes and 19 seconds in this game. This was a beatdown, is what it was. That's just what it was. Despite out-rebounding the Boston Celtics in this game, despite everything else, like the Bulls had 14 turnovers in this game. They gave up 27 points off those turnovers. This was one of the few times where the Chicago Bulls won the points in the paint. They only gave up 38 points in the paint, but you know why that is? Because the Boston Celtics literally got everything else they possibly wanted in this game. This was a game in which you watch this and you forget somehow that anything positive has happened in the Bulls season at all. We didn't have a single player score 20 points in this game, whereas the Boston Celtics had 3 players scored over 20 points, 34 from Kristaps Porzingis, 22 from Derek White, 28 from Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum went 5 of 15 in this game. At some point, Jason Tatum was just like, bet, I ain't even got to worry about shooting for real. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 16 points. He still was plus 14 from the field. This was an utter shellacking is what this is. This is what we call a good old-fashioned ass whooping. That's what this was for the Chicago Bulls. Yes, Patrick Williams had 16 points off the bench. The Patrick Williams Knights, they listen, Patrick Williams is playing good off the bench. 30 minutes played off the bench today, 6 for 7 from the field. 6 for 11 from the field for 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block. Listen, I can't knock the game from Patrick Williams. That was a solid game from him. 12 points off the bench for Matas Buzelis today, who got to play 21 minutes. He went 4-6 from the field. Telling y'all, there's something about that Patrick Williams, Matas Buzelis out there together. Dalen Terry couldn't repeat the performance from the other night. He did play 12 minutes, but was only 1 of 4 for today. But other than that, if you look at the starting lineup sucked today. 10 points from Josh Giddey, 12 points from Ayo Dosunmu, who played with some activity. Kobe White got 16 points on 15 shots upon his return. Lonzo Ball with 9 points. Vooch, 6 points, 11 rebounds today. This was a game in which not only could you clearly see that the Bulls were outclassed as far as talent. Yes, we were missing Zach LaVine in this game, but they were outclassed as far as coaching as well. Billy Donovan was so far over his head that I literally think that Joe Mazzulla probably started letting some of his assistants coach the rest of the game. That's how bad the adjustments were today for the Bulls. Now, make no mistake about it. The Boston Celtics are the more talented team, right? I want to be clear. They're a championship, NBA champion for a reason, right? So the Bulls didn't have a really great chance to compete in this anyway, but the way in which this game went down, right, and watching this game and watching the utter life be ripped away from the Chicago Bulls over the course of this game was utterly disgusting. It was disgusting. This was an ugly game. This was a game where you watch this and you're just like, hey, man, listen, I don't know who these Chicago Bulls are, but these ain't the motherfuckers I've been rooting for. But this is just a reminder of how far the Bulls truly are from really being a contender, right? Like sometimes you need that reminder, not only for the team, And for the front office, who I think needs a big reminder just how far this team is from truly being any shape, form, or fashion of actually competitive in the NBA. But for some of the Bulls fans to get a little too caught up, right? Sometimes in some of the wins, they get a little too caught up sometimes in some of the good vibes that happen around this team. This team is trash. It just is what it is, man. This is a bad basketball team. I know I keep saying that. I just keep reminding everybody. This is a bad team that is badly coached, that's severely missing some things that they need with for talent. It just is what it is. When you're up against the best, yeah, the Bulls get some surprising wins from time to time, but I think everybody needs to remember why it is actually surprising when the Bulls get wins like that, because this is who this team is, right? This is more closely aligned with who the Chicago Bulls actually are than anything else you're going to see from this team. This is a team that's going to struggle mightily. The coaching was not there tonight. The execution was not there tonight. And this was another one of those games where you looked at this team and you're like, despite some flashes, right? There are some moments where Ayo Dosunmu getting to the rim, cutting through the lane, things like that, where you're like, okay, they're playing with a little bit of heart. But overall, they just can't maintain it. You know why they can't maintain it? Because the heart ain't in them. It's not in them. Just is what it is. Look, Hayes, I understand Billy Donovan doesn't know his head from his ass, but Jesus, the fact that THC got meaningful minutes and Julian Phillips didn't check in into the fourth quarter is a problem. I mean, THC played 2 minutes, bro. 2 minutes. 2. He got a shin splint like an old man. I will say though, Shay, I need Phillips to get stronger. He gets matched up against these premier perimeter posters and gets hunted. Yeah, I mean, Julian got to put on some weight, but we knew that when he came into the league, right? That Julian Phillips was going to have to put on some weight. But I tell you what, Julian Phillips' defensive instincts are usually pretty good. I mean, yes, he has growth things that he needs to do. Make no mistake about it. That's not an excuse for some of the limitations there. But I think once he does adjust to the physicality of the NBA, I think Julian Phillips is going to be a pretty damn good defender. So, it is what it is. Very happy with how Patrick Williams is playing off the bench. He works well there despite the result. Yeah, listen, Patrick is working well off the bench now. Right? I talked about coming in to last game that Patrick Williams, for the most part of his career, has been the exact same when he got moved to the bench. That has not been the case here. I can't even say that that's been the case. Patrick Williams has been playing really damn good. Pat off the bench is surprisingly. Pat off the bench is effective. And you know what I think it is too? In prior years, when Patrick Williams did move to the bench wasn't this youthful. So when you look at like Jalen Smith, when you look at of course, P. Will, Matas Buzelis, even Julian Phillips playing off the bench, this is a youthful bench unit. So you're like, if he doesn't move with those guys out there, he's going to get left in the dirt. So I think that through that, like it's really kind of causing Patrick Williams to naturally have to be a little bit more active. And then when you got point guards like Lonzo and Josh Giddey, who's going to get you the ball, it is what it is. We need to trade Lonzo. Poor guy was one of the only ones hustling, and he hasn't played in 2 years. I mean, listen, you can't give that anymore. He's been playing for the entirety of the season, so it is what it is there. But Lonzo got to shoot better as well. But Lonzo always gives effort. You'll never see a game, no matter what the result is with his shooting, no matter what the result is with the team, Lonzo's always giving the same effort. And you love seeing that. And I mean that in a positive way. It's really good. He's the way that Lonzo's consistently able to just fight through everything. That's special, man. Another night, another Bulls ass kicking. No, another time Bulls getting their ass kicked. P. Will definitely looks more comfortable off the bench. I've been saying that's one of the places he should have been for the past. Yeah, but he hasn't looked that comfortable in other years. That's why I just said, like, this is not how P. Will has looked when he's gone to the bench in other years. It just isn't. But hey, this is why players grow, and maybe this was the wake up call that he needed. Let's see how much he's going to maintain it, right? Capella, Larry Nance in 2025 first for Vooch, P. Will, both guys. They're not going to do that, though, because the Hawks did not want to give up a first. They didn't want to give up any picks, not even seconds for Nikola Vucevic. So A positive was P. Will looks good off the bench. Another positive is the Bulls are now tied for 10th, and the 76ers have won 4 straight. Bulls solo in the standings. We have negotiating power. We have negotiating power with Vooch. Listen, I'm telling y'all this, man. I've been saying it. Shout out to ATS. I'm always going to throw a little shot at him because he was so confident that the Chicago Bulls were always going to stay ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers. And I tell you what, the 76ers are nipping right at the Bulls' heels, man. They're nipping right at the Bulls' heels now. And they keep winning. It's going to be real difficult to keep holding them off, is all I can say. Real difficult. So, I mean, hey, the Bulls, especially with the way that our schedule is shaped up, I think we have a way tougher schedule for them than them the rest of the way. I'll look this up real quick to make sure I'm not talking out the side of my neck. So the Bulls, the rest of the way through, have the 15th toughest schedule, and the Philadelphia 76ers have the 5th easiest schedule in the league. Yeah, that, and the only thing that could avoid that is Atlanta. Atlanta losing Jalen Johnson. They have the 16th hardest schedule in the league. They're right below us and right above us in the standings. Depending on what Atlanta does and how they deal with this injury to Jalen Johnson, the Bulls could still stay at 10th or whatever as the Hawks drop and the Philadelphia 76ers rise. But other than that, man, the rest of the way through, this is looking kind of ugly, y'all. This is looking kind of ugly. 76ers are slowly but surely getting their shit together, y'all. And if this continues, this is why. Hey, listen, you know what it is? I never try to act like, hey, I got everything figured out, because I don't, especially not with this Bulls team. It's hard to get anything figured out. But when somebody like the reason why I always call out ATS is he's so smug and be wrong every single time. He was confidently for weeks. The Bulls are clearly a better team than the Philadelphia 76ers. There's no way that the 76ers catch up with the Bulls. Hayes, you're crazy. Now look at us. Tied right there. Neck and neck. Who has the momentum right now? It ain't the Bulls. That's for damn sure. Please do something to improve this team, whether it's in the immediate or the future. Well, keep in mind, to improve in the future, that may mean you have to get worse in the present. So that could be that they could do that. But remember, it could get very, very worse. Philadelphia 1-2. Are they now above us? No, I think we're now tied because we had a 1-game lead over them. So with us losing and them winning, that catches them up a game. So now we're tied. I don't know who owns the tiebreaker, though. I don't know who owns the tiebreaker. Just got done with the Cognac Boys live call. C-Dub has a message for you, Hayes. He wants to know if he can borrow a pack of Just for Men from you. Not even capping. Well, you don't have to worry about that because I don't use Just for Men. I wonder if he was worrying about if he can he use your eyeliner MC season? Can he use that? Can he use the eyeliner that you use? Better yet. I can't make that joke. I'm gonna let that go. That would have been funny though. I'll text it to you, but I can't make that joke. Now don't hear YouTube shut me down. You can clearly see Billy Donovan is off Julian Phillips. He never sees minutes until the second half anymore, and limited at that. I mean, listen, he's talked about it before that he's not quite happy with some of the defensive things that Julian Phillips did out there. You know, it is what it is, man. I'm not even mad. Wasn't expecting a win tonight anyway. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's difficult to expect a win against this team. It just is. Vooch trying hard not to get traded. No, I don't think that's the case. To be honest, we weren't going to let y'all beat us again as of right now. I don't know y'all let us beat. Like, come on now. Let's be clear. Go back and look at that game. You didn't let us beat you. That's you can support your team while not saying words like let us. You didn't let us beat you. We caught y'all slipping is what it was. But clearly we know that the Boston Celtics are the better team here. I don't think anybody got caught. Well, let me not say any, but let me not speak because there's some very special people out in the world. But I don't think many smart basketball fans let themselves get caught up thinking that the Bulls were really a team that was going to compete with the Boston Celtics consistently. Why are people talking trash about Kobe? He played all right despite the injury, in my opinion. Vooch was the one to blame here. No, it's more than you can't just blame it on one player, in my opinion. Kobe had an extremely poor first half off the back of an injury absence, but his second half was actually decent. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the first and second half splits for Kobe White, In the first half, he was 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 for 3-point range. He had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. Not good at all. He was negative 15 from the field. In the second half of this game, he was 5 of 9. That's 55% shooting. 1 of 4, still not great from 3-point line. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, still 2 turnovers and 13 points. He evened out negative. 0 as far as a plus minus. So much better second half than first half. And that could be attributed to kind of getting back in rhythm, coming back from injury, things like that. But Kobe's been so wildly inconsistent this season. It's really hard to give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to, but it's really hard to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has been. It's just been an inconsistent season for Kobe for a couple of different reasons, right? I got a video going in detail on that one, but why would Zach want to stay on a team like this? Do you believe he means it or just saying it just to say it? I bet Lonzo and Vooch won out too. Well, you got to keep in mind, players are more prideful than I think some fans are, right? There are, of course, some players that get tired and they just want out. I'm not going to act like that doesn't happen because it does. But then there's also some players that they want to be the reason why things turn around, right? Some players are narcissistic in the best ways possible, in the sense that they want to be part of the reason. They want to be able to say, and then keep in mind this too, like just like we have pride in the Bulls, some players have pride in the Bulls. They have pride for the teams that they play for. So there's not going to be, I just want to jump ship and get out of here. There's some players that look at this and say, we got to get this right, and I want to be part of us getting this right, right? So I think there's some part of that in it. A trade deadline a week away, even though we will not do shit. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do much either. I don't think we're going to do much. If we lose to Toronto in a couple of days, they're also nipping on our heels. Yeah, Toronto's also a team that I think they've won, 4 in a row, something like that. I think Toronto, I don't know if they won or not tonight, so I'm not going to act like I watched the Toronto Raptors game, but yeah, they won 5 in a row coming at least into tonight. And they won tonight too, so they won 6 in a row. So there you go there. The Toronto Raptors are right there as well. So maybe as the Atlanta Hawks decline, that's where they start rising at. So as it stands right now, as the standings are right now, I'm just going from the 9th seed down. The Atlanta Hawks right now have a 2.5 game lead over the Chicago Bulls for the 9th seed. The Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers are both tied. And they're 18.5 games back of the Atlanta Hawks, and the Toronto Raptors are 23 games back of the number one seed, but they're 5 games back of the Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers. But they're 7-3 in their last 10. They were 5 in a row. We'll see what happens there. So the Bulls got a little bit of space. The Bulls and the Sixers got a lot of space really between them and the Toronto Raptors. But after the All-Star break, this is going to be a mad dash. This is going to be really interesting to see how things shake out after that, man. 2 decent games off the bench doesn't impress me. Listen, and I can't blame you for not being impressed and saying you want to see it longer. I don't think anybody who's watched this team long enough will blame me for that. Vooch could be letting this trade talk affect his gameplay, and Dan Maxey of the 76ers looked terrific. Well, remember, Nikola Vucevic was one that said that the trade talk got to them last year, and people kind of criticized him for it. So he's already kind of admitted that trade talk may get in his head a little bit. So, I don't know, people criticize him for that, and that's cool because as a player in the NBA, you kind of just got to get used to it, right? That's something that it just comes with the territory, unfortunately. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. The Bulls stink. That's all I can say. The Bulls stink, man. And it really sucks that this is where we are with our team, man. I love this team. Fuck. Do you think Zach still wants to be a part of this team after tonight's loss? I don't think one loss is going to change how Zach LaVine feels. Look at all the losing that Zach LaVine has done here, has been a part of here. I won't say that, put that just on him because he's been part of some terrible teams. But look at all the losing that Zach LaVine has been a part of while Chicago Bull. I don't think one loss is going to make him look at it and be like, this is the one. This is the one. But, it is what it is, man. Why Io was guarding KP and yet Billy gets ape shit with Phillips because he doesn't defend well. This is just a lack of direction aftermath. I mean, listen, we don't have direction. We're missing some key things. It is what it is, man. I can't wait to hear Acme's press conference after the trade deadline. Oh, listen, I can tell y'all what. This is what Acme's going to say after the trade deadline. Bet. I'm going to go Artur's Carnes over for a second. You know, we made a lot of calls. We talked to a lot of teams, and there were some things out there that we felt maybe could have helped us. But at what cost? And at sometimes you got to weigh the cost versus the reward. And right now, we really didn't feel like the cost of some of these deals were prices that we were willing to pay. We have a good chance to keep our number one pick. I mean, our first round pick. So we didn't really want to give up any first to kind of improve this team. As far as making trades to send some players away, we really like the guys that we have here. And because we like those guys here that we have, we really didn't want to just send them away for nothing. And so we didn't really get the value that we see for the players that we have here on this team. So we kind of felt that it was best to just hold on to these guys. And we're gonna see where it takes us the rest of the season. There will be changes in the offseason. I promise you that. We'll continue to evaluate it. We know that Bulls fans aren't happy with this team, and Bulls fans deserve more. And so we're going to do everything that we can in our power between now and the beginning of next season to get this thing turned around. I promise you, nobody's more upset by the place that this team is than us, and we're working hard to get this thing turned around. That's exactly what AK is going to say after the trade deadline when the Bulls do nothing. Take that, cut that, clip it, and just save it, and come back to this when after the trade deadline, when the Bulls do nothing and AK's press conference comes out. I'm telling you, watch it. I predicted the same thing when it was Matt Eberflus. I'm getting so good at predicting bullshit to come out of people's mouths that are supposed to be leading Chicago teams. Listen to what I said. I want Vooch to be benched until he gets traded. I see his value dropping every game. Well, keep in mind, NBA teams are not like fans. They're looking at a full body of work. They're looking at things that we don't look at that's more than surface level. I don't think Vooch having a couple of down games is going to drastically change his trade value because they're looking at who Vooch has been over his career, right? When are you and BKR Sport linking up? Also, when we need to trade Vucevic by the deadline, or I won't be happy. Well, when he comes here next year, we'll be linking up. Or what is it at the end of this year, something like that? So it'll be sooner rather than later, sooner than you think. If they get blown out by 80 by the Wizards, Zach 100% won't be back. That's hilarious. That's funny. Do you think Zach to the Warriors trade will happen? I mean, listen, the person that reported it, and I didn't know this, somebody left it in my comments, but the person that reported it from The Athletic said that the guy's a Warriors insider, and he's really, really entrenched with the team, and most things that he reports ends up happening. So I don't know that because I don't follow the Warriors, like their beat reporters and things like that, but we'll see. We'll see. Is there any kind of way you can see the team win 40 games? Bro, what are you smoking? We have 20 wins now. There are 33 games left, I think. So that would mean that the Bulls only lose. They go 20 and 13 the rest of the way. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way, man. Ain't no way the Bulls are getting 40 wins. This is just not happening, bro. Miles Turner could be a good trade for Vooch. Yeah, but here's the thing. I know that the Pacers are shopping Miles Turner, right? I've covered that on NBA Central. The question you have to ask yourself is: Are the Pacers so locked in to trading Miles Turner that they're going to trade for more offense? Like, are they just going to be the team that just forgoes any type of defense? Is that what they're going to do? I guess it's a possibility. I don't think Acme gives a damn. They're getting a paycheck. I wish they cared as much as Poles. I love Poles as a GM. I think he's done more good than bad. AK, what have you done? I mean, listen, you're cooking. Tell me this is not classic Bulls. They wait until Lonzo last year to get a new point guard to replace him. Now Lonzo's back and played just as good as Giddey, and they can lose both of them at the end of the season. Well, I mean, they have control over losing Giddey. But I think that it's just proof that Lonzo isn't part of their future plans, right? We'll get 40 wins on the 4 of February. Listen, we may get 4 more wins, right? Can we get 40 wins without the 0 on the end? Yeah, we may get that. Hayes, if that happened, how would you feel? 20 and 13 record after tonight. Listen, I'm not going to spend time talking about something that ain't going to happen. This looks really hard without Zach. Just imagine without Vooch, and things will look like ass. It's looking real Megan Thee Stallion out there. Based on Indiana's track record with how crap they've been since 2000, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, listen, you can say since the record since 2000, but since 2015, they got a way better record than the Bulls on average. So there you go on that one. I'm getting so sick of y'all MFers. First, you talking about people. Listen, Shay, stop with the fake outrage, bro. Stop shaking your wheelchair, bro. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right, bro. It's gonna be okay. Don't let them frustrate you, brother. Don't let them frustrate you. Iro Vooch out here the last few games reducing his trade value. Maybe he's comfortable in shy. I already addressed the whole changing the trade value thing. I think if it happens, we likely no. I don't believe it's right like that. I think if it happens that we would likely know what? Bruh, I'm glad somebody said it, BKR, because my head just hurt trying to figure that out. Start Javon, and we will go undefeated the rest of the season. That's what you smoke. You smoking that loud, bro. Would you re-sign Zoe? Do you think Zoe would come back? Also, do you think Giddy would want to come back? Oh, Giddy definitely wants to come back. Zoe, I mean, listen, I love Zoe as a player, right? But you got to make a business decision. And we'll see. I personally wouldn't mind Zoe coming back on a team-friendly deal. There would be restrictions on what I'd be willing to offer, but I wouldn't mind re-signing Zoe. Wait, I haven't watched your Zach Warriors video yet, but what is the reported trade package centered around Wiggins? There is no reported package yet. The report is that there's some that are in the Warriors and the stakeholders that are really high on the team making a move for Zach LaVine. Shay's taking his rage out on everything but the English language dictionary. That's crazy. Came in late, bro. Anyway, off to work. Got a jet to catch. Keep it up. Shout out to you with the jet. The fake outrage had me hollering about Shay. Hey, Shay be fake mad at everybody, man. And you know what Shay's gonna call? Shay cursed like every curse word his first time saying it. Shay be like, yeah, Hayes, and I told these motherfuckers. And it's like, hey, bro, stop. You're not Samuel L. Jackson. Calm down, bro. Calm down. Hayes, am I wrong for wanting Bulls to just take 2 second-round picks for Lonzo and Vucevic and try to get a first-round pick for Zach? For Zoe, no. 2 first-round picks for Zoe, not bad. For Vooch, here's the thing that I'll say, right? Is because most of the teams that are interested in Vooch are playoff teams, not playing teams, playoff teams outright. So that means their picks are going to be like in the 20s. So in my opinion, I mean, I'm not mad at the Bulls for holding out for a pick that's going to be low first round. I'm not mad at that. Love Matas tonight but 4 fouls by the 8-minute mark of the second quarter is brutal. Needs to really limit that, as it's pretty typical for him to pick up multiple soft fouls. Well, I mean, that's the thing that adjusting the guarding bigs in the NBA, right? Almost everybody who has to guard power forwards in the NBA goes through that time period. Pat did it, but Pat overcame it about 25 games into his rookie year, right? But this is why when you don't play players, that those things that players usually get over, like go look at Zach Edey. Zach Edey started the season, he had 5 fouls in like 8 minutes one time, right? But now he's starting to learn, okay, this is how I have to guard in the NBA. This is how the refs call certain things. This is where I can be physical, where you know I could have got away with more in college. When you don't play players minutes, especially in crunch time, it's hard for them to get over that learning curve. That is why, like, not playing players end up coming back in different ways. So I think there will be no trade this season. A lot of people think that. Hey, stop it. What did I do now? MC season, where my tamales? That's hilarious. Is there a way we can get Ingram without giving up Zach? No, not really, because of the contract. I mean, yeah, you can try to work out like a multiple player deal, but that gets a little bit more restrictive, and then you start running into players that they probably don't want to give up. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Nah, Shay learned his curse words from the uncensored version of the Sesame Street. No, he learned it from the Boondocks. That's where he learned it from. He definitely cursed like a character off the Boondocks. I feel like we should just take the second round picks and see who falls through the first round of the draft and go from there. Yeah, no, that's not. I get as a friend you could say that, but as a team running it, you can't. Do you believe reports that said Matas is only touched? No, that already got debunked. That was never actually what was said in that article. I actually debunked that on my Twitter. It's crappy. We actually have a lot of draft capital. We just can't use it until we actually. We have all our first round picks. The only first round picks that we don't have is the one that we owe to the Spurs, which could come this year, could come next year, or the year after. And because of that, it limits what we can move. We actually got all of our draft capital. We over the last few. We got like 6 second round picks over the next 4 drafts. We got actually a lot of draft capital. It just is what it is. Nobody wants it. Unrelated, but one positive for today is got Vandersloot back, probably. I mean, yeah, I covered that over on Chicago Sky Central Love. She's a Chicago legend. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care that some of y'all only started watching the WNBA when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese came into it. Courtney Vandersloot is one of the best basketball players to ever play for a professional Chicago basketball scene, period. It just is what it is. And she deserves her recognition. And I'm glad that Courtney Vandersloot is back. Y'all may just be new to putting some respect on the WNBA, but I'm not new to putting respect on the WNBA. Courtney Vandersloot is a Chicago sports legend. And I stand by every word of that. Trey Vooch, get a defensive big, get a forward. I told y'all before, once you start getting all them second, it's not going to happen. By the way, Philly would have the tiebreaker. Currently, we're 0-2 against them. All right, so there you go on that one. I know this is a Bull channel, but listen, Sydney, go over to Bear Central. There's a whole Bears channel. I'll answer it over there. This Bull squad got to beef up in the offseason. They too weak, getting pushed around by everybody. Yeah, we young. I mean, that's what happens kind of when you're young. I don't disagree with you on that one. Daniel, the Bulls will never do a full rebuild. Now, maybe over time, like I said before, the most likely scenario that you'll see for this Bulls team is that you'll look back 3 years from now and be like, damn, about 90% of the team is different. But if you're talking about in one offseason, one foot fails, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. By the way, y'all see the new heads? These are new heads. Hold on. See, these are the original heads that I made, right, with my hands. You see that? See? That's foam. See that? Foam. Metal. It's good. Upgrades. I got to go put the other ones up in my son's room. We're getting a great player in this draft. Just be thankful we can lose for that. Good things come to those who wait. Listen, you can't assume that with the Chicago Bulls. Listen, I hope there's going to be a lot of great players that they could potentially get, but you cannot assume that with the Chicago Bulls. Because if anybody in the top 10 picks the bust, I think that it would be the Chicago Bulls. That's just what I'm going to believe until I see otherwise. I agree we're probably getting a great player in the draft, but although it's incredibly stacked, there will be multiple teams who look like fools getting the wrong stacked draft player. Agreed. How many years is left on Billy's contract? 1. Next year's his last year on his deal. This is hilarious. It's funny. That's funny. Put me on. I need a Hoops Legion sign. Oh, I mean, I can send you to play this to get a custom Hoops Legion sign made. But all right, y'all, going to get ready to wrap this up. Got to go do Locked On Bulls, man. I'm trying to finish at a decent time tonight. For those that know, listen, the last basically since 3:15 Chicago time, I've been recording. It's been crazy. There's been so much Bears news. I did 3 Bears lives, like 2 or 3 Chicago Bulls lives, a Chicago Sky Live, Bleacher Report. It's been work getting done over here. But thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-27. That's the wrong one. 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. Like I liked in everything on. Go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.